You don't notice it growing up, but the older you get, the stranger Britain starts to look, especially to everyone else. Number 1, saying sorry to objects. There's a point in every Brit's life when you realise you've just apologised to a chair. You bump into it, say sorry, and carry on like that's completely reasonable behaviour. Nobody teaches it, it just happens, somewhere between learning to queue and brewing your first cup of tea. It's not about guilt, it's about reflex. The same impulse that makes you say sorry when someone else bumps into you. It's politeness so deeply wired, it doesn't even check who's involved. Other countries see it as unnecessary. Here, it's muscle memory, a tiny act of manners aimed at the universe itself. Number 2, talking about the weather. Ask any Brit how they are and the answer's probably about the sky. Not their mood, the actual sky. Bit grey, isn't it? Supposed to clear up later? It's not really small talk, it's social glue. You can speak to a total stranger at a bus stop and the weather's the password that gets you in. There's comfort in it, the constant check-in, the half-hope that tomorrow might finally feel like summer. The forecasters are never right, but that's part of the fun. Everyone's got their own theory, swear by one app, curse another, insist they can smell rain coming. It's communal forecasting, half science, half folklore. And when the sun does show up, everything stops. Offices empty, parks fill, someone inevitably burns. It's chaos disguised as joy. And it all starts with a single phrase. Nice out, isn't it? Number 3, queuing for everything. There's a certain calm that comes from a proper queue. You see one forming, and instinct takes over. Find the end, stand neatly, avoid eye contact, wait. Nobody needs signs or barriers, everyone just knows. It's order born from chaos, centuries of drizzle and shared patience shaping national behaviour. Watch a Brit in a foreign airport and you'll see it kick in like muscle memory. Doesn't matter what the line's for, coffee, tickets, even a broken lift. If there's a hint of sequence, we'll make one. Cutting in is unthinkable, the social equivalent of setting off a fire alarm. It's not about the wait, really. It's about fairness, about the quiet understanding that we're all stuck in the same slow-moving line, so we might as well make it dignified. Somewhere deep down, the queue isn't just a system, it's proof that civilization still exists, even if it's only outside of Greg's. Number 4. Still could be worse. There's a phrase you hear everywhere in Britain, still could be worse. It's the national pressure valve. Something goes wrong, train's late, soup's cold, roof leaks, and that's the line that closes it. No rant, no drama, just a tiny shrug that resets the mood. It's not denial, it's survival. A way of keeping chaos at arm's length. The British talent for understatement isn't about pretending things are fine, it's about knowing they rarely are, and making peace with that. You'll hear it said in every tone imaginable. Sometimes cheerful, sometimes weary, sometimes with the faintest edge of despair. Yet it always lands the same. Calm, resigned, oddly comforting. A phrase that turns disaster into a story you can tell over tea later. Number 5. You're right. If you're not from Britain, hearing you're right for the first time can sound like a genuine concern. You start explaining how your day's going, maybe even why you look tired, and the person's already halfway down the corridor. Because here, it's not a question. It's a grating that doesn't need an answer. No one's actually checking if you're all right, it's just the verbal equivalent of a nod. A social reflex we all learned somewhere between school corridors and office kitchens. Sometimes we say it twice in the same sentence. You're right. Yeah, you. Like a handshake made out of words. It sounds caring and maybe that's why it's stuck. There's a comfort in it, even when no one's listening for the reply. Number 6. Treating a bit of sun like a national holiday. The first hint of sunshine and Britain loses its mind. Shirts come off, parks fill. Someone's dragging a barbecue out of a shed that hasn't been open since last August. Supermarkets run out of ice cubes and disposable grills within hours. It's as if the entire country's been waiting by the window for a signal. People walk around squinting, pretending it's normal to eat a melting Coroto on a bench that's too hot to sit on. Pubs overflow into pavements. Radio stations declare it's glorious out there. And somewhere, inevitably, there's a man in flip-flops burning. It never lasts, of course. The clouds always come back quicker than anyone admits. But for those few brief hours, Britain genuinely believes it's living on the Mediterranean, and no one's telling them otherwise. Number 7. Calling everyone mate. There's a kind of magic in the word mate. It fits anywhere. Shouted across a pub, mumbled in apology, slipped into sentences when you've forgotten someone's name. It can sound friendly, sarcastic, even threatening depending on how you say it. All right, mate can mean good to see you, or you're about to get punched, and somehow everyone knows which is which. What's clever is how it flattens the distance between people. Mate makes everyone equal. No sir, no love, no boss, just mate. It's casual, easy, and British to the bone. Other countries have buddy or pal, but they never quite carry the same weight. Here, one word can soften an argument or seal a friendship. Sometimes both in the same conversation. Number 8. The biscuit hierarchy. Every British household has one, even if no one's written it down, the unspoken biscuit hierarchy. You open a tin or packet and everyone knows which ones are fair game and which ones are sacred. The rich tea? Fine. The custard cream? Acceptable, but the chocolate hobnob? That's a commitment. Office break rooms are where it gets serious. Someone brings in digestives and suddenly they're everyone's best friend. Bring in bourbons and you've started class warfare. Dunking technique becomes a point of pride. Too short, you're timid. Too long, you're reckless. What's funny is biscuits aren't even about taste anymore, they're about ritual, something to hold between sentences, to make tea feel complete. Somewhere between the kettle and the crumbs, you learn that biscuits aren't just snacks, they're social currency. Number 9. Talking to strangers' dogs. It's perfectly normal in Britain to stop mid-walk and have a full conversation with another human's dog. Not the owner, the dog. The owner gets a polite nod, maybe a quick, "he's lovely," but the real focus is the four-legged stranger. "Who's a good boy then?" said in a tone we'd never use with another human. There's something about it that feels safe. You can be friendly without the awkwardness of small talk, no pressure to keep the chat going once the tail wags and you both move on. For a few seconds, you've shared something gentle, no introductions, no exchange of names, just mutual appreciation of a creature that doesn't care about social rules. In a country famous for politeness and distance, that little moment of open warmth feels like a quiet rebellion. Number 10. Feeling awkward when someone opens a present in front of you. There's no fear quite like it. Watching someone unwrap a present you gave them, you're sitting there smiling too hard, pretending to breathe normally, waiting for a reaction that feels miles away. Every second of rustling paper stretches into hours. If they love it, great. If they hesitate, you die inside a little. You start over-explaining. "I wasn't sure about the colour, but I thought maybe," while silently wishing you just handed it over and left. It's not that we don't like giving gifts, we just can't handle the theatre of it. The politeness instinct goes into overdrive. They're trying to look thrilled, you're trying to look relaxed, and both of you know what's happening. Still, when it's over, you let out a tiny breath of relief. Another emotional obstacle cleared, all wrapped in shiny paper. Number 11. Saying cheers for things that don't deserve it. Cheers has become the Swiss Army knife of British manners. Someone holds a door, cheers. Hands you the receipt, cheers. Nearly knocks you over but smiles afterwards, still cheers. Half the time it's got nothing to do with gratitude, it's just punctuation for existing near another person. There's a rhythm to it too, quick, casual, like flicking a switch. You can say it walking off a bus, hanging up the phone or leaving the dentist chair. No one's celebrating anything, but it fills the awkward silence better than goodbye. It's polite without being too formal, friendly without asking for conversation. A one-word buffer between people who'd rather not make a scene, which, to be fair, sums up British communication perfectly. Number 12. Calling dinner tea and tea a cuppa, confusing every visitor instantly. Ask a Brit what they're having for tea, and there's a good chance they don't mean tea. They mean dinner, an actual meal, something with gravy or mash or both. Meanwhile, if they do mean tea, as in the drink, that's a cuppa. Visitors never know where they are with that. It's one of those quiet divides that says more than you think. Tea for dinner usually means you grew up somewhere where the evening meal was simple, hearty, nothing fancy. Dinner might sound a bit formal, a bit posh even. But everyone still drinks tea, so the word never really escaped either way. Foreigners arrive thinking tea is tea, then end up sitting at a table full of sausages and peas wondering what's going on. No one explains it because to Brits it makes perfect sense. You just know which tea someone means from the context, or at least you pretend you do.
Number 13. Keeping the heating off until your breath is visible, then acting shocked by the bill. There's a particular kind of British pride in refusing to turn the heating on. You sit there, wrapped in 3 jumpers, telling anyone who listened that it's not that bad yet. You can see your own breath, but somehow that's not the point. It's about winning the silent war against the gas meter. Everyone does the same dance. You hover near the thermostat, hand out like you're testing the temperature of holy water, then walk away, pretending you didn't even think about it. Eventually, someone caves, usually late at night when the chills settled into the furniture. The click of the boiler feels like defeat and relief at once. Then, a few weeks later, the bill arrives. Absolute outrage, as if you weren't the one who pressed the button. And yet, the cycle resets because deep down, every Brit believes they can outsmart winter through sheer stubbornness and an extra pair of socks. Number 14. Being weirdly loyal to a supermarket, like it's a football club. Ask a Brit where they shop, and you'll learn more about them than if you ask their star sign. People have opinions about supermarkets. Some swear by Tesco, others talk about Sainsbury's like it's a family. Aldi and Lidl fans act like they're part of a resistance movement, and then there are the Waitrose loyalists, calm, confident, pretending not to look at the price of grapes. It's rarely about logic. The shelves all sell the same stuff, bread, milk, biscuits, but once you've picked your place, that's it. You'll defend it like you've got shares in it. If someone mentions they got a bargain somewhere else, you'll quietly mutter something about quality and change the subject. And if your usual shop rearranges the aisles, outrage. Feels like betrayal. You'll spend a full half hour wandering around like a ghost of your former self, muttering about where the tinned tomatoes used to be. Number 15. Turning minor weather events into national dramas. It doesn't take much to throw Britain off balance. A single snowflake and the news cameras are already rolling. Travel chaos, they'll say, showing a roundabout with 3 cars on it. You can feel the nation tensing up, schools closing, trains cancelled, someone on the radio telling everyone to avoid unnecessary journeys. The thing is, people secretly love it, that shared sense of overreaction. Neighbours comparing notes, posting photos of a dusting of snow like it's the Arctic. The excitement lasts until the bins freeze shut or the grit runs out, and then it turns into national outrage. It's the same with wind too. A bit blowy, someone says, and by afternoon, half the garden furniture's gone missing and everyone's calling it the Great Storm of 2025. Nothing bonds the country faster than collectively deciding the weather's out to get us. Number 16. Keeping a drawer full of plastic bags because they'll come in handy. Every British kitchen has that one drawer, usually near the fridge, always slightly overstuffed. You pull it open and a wave of plastic bags spills out, each one carefully folded at least once before being shoved back in. It's a small archive of supermarket history. Tesco, Co-op, maybe a rogue one from Marks & Spencer, all flattened like souvenirs from weekly routines. No one ever plans to use them, yet no one dares throw them away. They'll come in handy, people say, even though the drawer's been full since 2007. The logic feels unshakable. One day you'll need the perfect bag for lunch, wet shoes, or wrapping up the compost bin, and when that day comes, you'll be glad you saved them. It's thrift disguised as comfort, proof that somewhere in the chaos of daily life, a bit of quiet practicality still lives on. Number 17. Having a favorite mug that somehow makes tea taste better. Everyone's got one. The mug. The one that just feels right in your hand. It's probably chipped a little, maybe has a faded logo from a holiday in Devon or a work gift from 10 years ago, but that's the one you reach for every time. If someone else uses it, you notice immediately. It's almost personal. You could pour the same tea into any other mug, and somehow it's not the same. The temperature's off, or the color doesn't look right. There's something about your mug, the weight, the handle, maybe even the memories baked into it, that makes it taste exactly how it should. And if it ever breaks, you don't just replace it. You try, but every new mug feels like an imposter pretending to do the same job. It's ridiculous, really, and yet completely understandable to anyone who's ever brewed a proper cup. Number 18. Describing anything remotely nice as not bad that. There's a strange art to British compliments. You could serve a perfect roast dinner, pull a pint with textbook precision, or show someone the most beautiful view they've ever seen, and the best you'll get is, yeah, not bad that. It's not an insult, far from it. That's high praise in British terms, practically glowing. Not bad means excellent, and yeah, alright means you've actually impressed me. Anything more enthusiastic than that starts to sound suspicious. It's about keeping balance. You can't go throwing around superlatives or you'll ruin the social ecosystem. Everyone just quietly agrees that understatement is safer. Besides, there's something satisfying about saying less and meaning more. Number 19. Saying, I might join you later, with absolutely no intention of going. This phrase isn't a maybe. It's a polite goodbye dressed as an open invitation. When a Brit says, I might join you later, what they actually mean is, I'm absolutely staying home, but I hope you have a great time. It's a small masterpiece of social diplomacy, a way of declining without declining. You can't argue with it because technically it leaves the door open. There's no confrontation, no guilt, just a gentle fade into comfortable absence. And the funny part is, everyone knows what it means. The people inviting you, the people listening in, they all nod and play along. It's one of those rare social agreements where pretending feels kinder than honesty. Number 20. Feeling awkward when someone compliments you. Compliments are a minefield for Brits. Someone tells you they like your jumper, and your first instinct is to apologize for it. Oh, it's ancient. You can't just say thanks. It feels unnatural, almost boastful. There's that awkward shuffle that happens too. Eyes dart, shoulders tighten, a half smile while you're desperately looking for an exit. The funny thing is, we love giving compliments. We've just quite not figured out how to take them. It's not shyness exactly, more a built-in resistance to attention. Accepting praise feels like standing under a spotlight you didn't ask for. Easier to laugh it off, change the subject, and move on like nothing happened. Number 21. Overcompensating politeness with strangers, then total silence on public transport. There's a strange duality to British politeness. You'll hold a door open for someone half a street away, mumble sorry if they bump into you, and thank the bus driver 3 times before getting off. But the moment you step onto a train, silence. Absolute, sacred silence. Nobody makes eye contact, everyone suddenly becomes fascinated by the floor, the window, or a very important message that doesn't exist on their phone. You could be sitting shoulder to shoulder for 40 minutes and never exchange a single word. It's not coldness, it's respect for the invisible bubble. Talking on public transport feels like breaking some unwritten peace treaty. You can be unfailingly polite in every other setting, just not between stops. So, how many of these do you actually do without thinking? Be honest. Which one's your worst habit, or the one you secretly love that no one outside Britain seems to get? Drop it in the comments. I'm curious how universal some of these actually are. And if this felt a bit too familiar, well, you might as well subscribe while you're here. Cheers.